It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we are on a mission. And our mission really is to empower. Our mission really is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you, the hard working entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Malaysia. She's in the building, and she'll be talking about the aligned CEO, whatever that means. We'll figure that out. And why are CEOs and businesses struggling these days really to attract the people they were called to serve? Can't wait to find that out. What's going on, Malaysia? How you doing?
Hey Che, I am amazing this great day, and I'm just so honored to be here with you today.
Well, good. I'm glad to have you here. And before we get started, I went to DC public school, so I might be the only one that has this question. And that question is aligned CEO. First of all, align means different things to different people. So can you define what does align mean? And then how does that relate to aligned and a CEO?
Yes, so this is a great question, and a lot of people ask this because a lot of people out there are doing things because they see other people do it. And it's not what they were necessarily intrinsically called to do. And so I believe that everybody has a divine purpose, a divine assignment. And when you get in alignment with that divine assignment, that is what allows you to be that aligned CEO. And it's very important because you see a lot of people who may be successful on the outside, but they're struggling on the inside. And I believe that that's one of the reasons why.
That makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad you brought that up. Struggling on the inside. Um, Let me ask a question. In terms of struggling on the inside, what do you say to the person that's watching right now? And I know we'll get into how to attract clients, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get to that, okay? But for the person that's watching right now and saying, Malaysia, I've got everything going on the outside. And people think
Mhm.
it couldn't get any better. But really on the inside, there's some things that I've been struggling with. And maybe it doesn't apply to you. If it doesn't out there, that's okay. Hold on. But the question I'm going to ask her is what's one or two or three things that she would say to that person right now that could help them? Now, it's a little unfair because all of you are in different places and different spaces. But if you could talk to the person
Mhm.
that's really right now, deep down, struggling, going through a medical issue, a family challenge, maybe some past drama, or they've been hit with the punch they never saw coming. What would you say to that
Yes.
person that's watching right now?
Well, number one, Shay, I would say that you are not alone. That's number one, because sometimes it feels very challenging, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because you still got to put food on the table, right? And so I would say to give yourself that level of grace, but also sometimes these things happen in order to get us in a line with our divine assignment. Because if things were perfect for us, there would be no need for change. So sometimes it's just a matter of removing everything. And I know that sounds crazy, but this is the holidays. Remove everything, get silent, get in tuned with your creator. And that is how, when you start to release things, when you start to get silent, that's when you can hear things. That's when you can start to dream again, when you start to get messages. And sometimes because the noise is so loud, whether it be social media, whether it be the television, politics, the things that are going on in our world, we tend to get overwhelmed. And so, just that one step, taking everything away, getting silent, and as you start to get information, moving in on that information that you're giving. So, making sure that you're taking action for the things that are aligned with your divine assignment.
I like that. And there's some people who don't know who you are. I know how famous you are all over the world, but there's some people saying, "Shay, I don't know who this person is." I'm listening to her. She's making sense. I like it, but I just didn't get a chance to read her bio. I didn't get a chance to Google her yet. Don't worry. We're going to get into that in just a second. So I'm going to ask her what her backstory is, and hopefully she'll take some time and share it with you. But before she do, she's very, very, very important for her that you build a business that's purpose driven. And I know purpose, again, is one of those broad words. Like everything is purpose, 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 purpose. Since that's the case, take a moment. What does a purpose driven business? I mean, you talked about being an aligned CEO. I get that. But what does a purpose driven business even look like? Okay. Or what does it feel like for someone out there? Just kind of curious what it is. Take a moment and talk about that, please.
Yeah, so when you start at the ground level with any business, of course, you have your mission. And when you are aligned, right, you're going to do things that are in align with that. So some people do things just to make money. That's great. But being impactful in a way that is in alignment with your particular mission. Yes, we can be successful at anything that we decide to do when we put our minds to. But again, you had talked even about attracting clients and things like that. Some things are your gift, and your gifts will make room for you. So when you are operating in your gifts for your true purpose, then you are everything is going to align in a way. Of course, there's still going to be issues that come up in business, but things are going to flow a lot differently, and you won't feel like you're working a day in your life.
I like that. Not a day in your life you have to worry about work. And I like that. And before we go a little further, because I want to feel that way, let's slow down. And don't worry, I'm going to come back and maybe you'll have one, two, or three steps that you can do to help attract clients or attract your ideal clients, by the way, so you can be in your purpose. But first, some of you wonder, who is she? What's her backstory? How did she get started? Why is she so passionate about that? I think those are fair and reasonable questions. So take a moment. You know the question already by now, hopefully. Who are you? I know it's a good time to get into that. And what's the backstory that really led you to really doing all the things you're doing now?
Yes, so my name's Malaysia Harrell, and I am a psychotherapist. I've been doing therapy for almost 30 years. I am a spiritual transformation coach, an author, and an international keynote speaker, award-winning business owner. And I've had the opportunity to serve in our great military. And it what happened was in 2020, I had a near death experience. And that experience allowed me to really take a step back and say, who am I now? Because I was living off of the accolades. I was living off of just doing things that were so big, working under the Surgeon General of the United States, doing big jobs, working with the White House. And so sometimes we get to a point where we lose ourselves. And it wasn't until everything was stripped away from me that I had to figure out, who is Malaysia now? And so I really brought in that spiritual transformation in order to allow us to get in alignment with our divine assignment. And I help women, high achieving women all over the world, to do the same thing, to get in alignment with their divine assignment. And a lot of the clients that I work with, they've shut down their brick and mortars. They've completely doing something different. And so I love that for them. I love that they can totally feel free and not feel like they're working just for money.
Because it's not just about the money; it's about the people that they serve. That's so said so well. Attracting your ideal client. Take a moment and talk about a word that's kind of tossed out there, which is branding. It's a big word, and I like for you to talk about for an aligned CEO. And ladies and gentlemen, she can handle a two-part question. Don't worry. Talk about what a personal brand maybe looks like and feels like to you, and then how that may be different from the brand from your business that you want to project out there to help bring in clients. Do you mind just breaking that down for us for a moment?
Sure. And there's different school of thoughts on this, but for me personally, I am the brand. My story is the brand, because there are people who were in my shoes, who are in the shoes that I was in before. They didn't know how they were going to make it out of darkness. They didn't know how they were going to, transform their life, how they were going to get their health back. And so I am that story. People are aligned with me, who are aligned, they're going to be attracted to me because of that. And so I think it starts when I work with my clients. We do what is called like a professional and personal rebrand in our Aligned Success Academy. And I think it's important for us to look at your personal mission and vision. We always start with the business, but when we start to look at your personal mission and vision, then the business is going to align with that, or it should. Some people may not do it that way, but I believe to be successful and have the peace that you need to have in order to maintain success, to maintain all the things that you need to do in the consistency, that is what's needed from the ground structure.
I like how you talked about the ground structure and where that's located. For the person that's listening and saying, I like this. I like the whole part of being an aligned CEO. We're going to talk about how people can connect with you later and so forth. But take a moment. The person is thinking, I'm looking to work with someone who can help me with my brand or help me with my business, just in general, because you worked and been trained in the military. You receive honors in a lot of different areas. And I'd be wondering, what does Malaysia look for when she's looking to hire a consulting firm or a branding firm, let's call it that, or I don't know, call it a coaching firm, whatever brand, whatever name you want to use for it. What are maybe one, two, or three things you look for in that organization that you're looking to help your business with? Can you share some insight on that?
So for me personally, when I'm looking to partner with people or work with different organizations, I need people who are available. We are in a time of, social media and online, like we're, talking with each other right now. And I think with the AI age, a lot of people are leaning more so on that and getting away from that personalization. But when it comes to working with people, I want to see a face. I want to see Chay's face. I want to make sure that Chay's vision and his mission is in line with me. He has to have integrity, right? And he has to understand where I'm coming from and what our needs are and help us move that ball forward. And so sometimes you may be specialized in your area and I'm specialized in mine, but of course I feel like we need to kind of meet and have that level of synergy that's really important for moving the ball forward.
And as you were talking there, I think that's a great segue to a segment we have here called "Today Is My January 1st." Now, for those folks who are tuning in for the very first time, will know what is Shay talking about. By the way, "Today is my January 1st" is our personal mantra here at the Happy Entrepreneur Show. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is, or how bright and sunny that past is, the past really no longer equals our future. And so my question for Malaysia on the other side is really two parts. Number one, just when you hear the words, "Today is my January 1st," what do you hear? And number two, you told us about one setback. What's another setback that you had in your life? And how were you able to really bounce back from it to start your January 1st?
Ooh, so when I think of my January 1st, I think of it as an opportunity to do the things that I've been called to do. A lot of us believe that we have time, but I will tell you, folks, we don't have time. Tomorrow is not promised. And so everything that you've been called to do, you think there's challenges. I don't have the resources to do what I'm supposed to do. Dr. Martin Luther King says you don't need to see the whole staircase to take the first step. January 1st means take the first step. Okay. And then on the other side of that, for what was the other question you asked me personally? What does that mean for me?
Yeah, yeah, we hear those ears. Yeah, what does that mean for you?
Oh, you talked about a step back and how
Yes.
I came out of that. So, well, of course, the near death experience that almost broke me all the way down. There's been many setbacks in life, and I see them more as experiences. Because had I not learned about those things, then I would not necessarily know how to move forward. But I would say the biggest setback that I thought was a setback, that was really a setup for a comeback, was when I had to retire early from active duty, which was 20 years and 8 months because of my medical ailments and no longer being fit to fight. So I felt like I did not know how I was going to move forward. I didn't know how I was going to have finances. I didn't know how I'd work again. And how I overcame that was just being obedient to my calling. Because when I'm on here talking with you, I probably wouldn't be talking on here with you today. I probably would not be meeting the most amazing, magnificent women and people all over the world that I've been able to now travel if this didn't happen. So I don't think that it was necessarily something that set me back. I think it calm me down for a second to be able to see the future vision of where I'm supposed to be and the impact that I'm supposed to make on the world.
The impact you're making on the world, and what a big impact you're making. You know, one of my favorite
Thank
questions to ask, and we have a few minutes, and we have a few minutes now, is what's one of the best pieces of advice that you've ever been given? And I like to frame it for the audience, so the audience is kind of clear that you've had a lot of mentors along this journey of life, probably more you can
you.
remember, by the way. You read countless books. Watched a lot of videos. I mean, 10,000 hours sounds like a joke now, the way we can scroll on our phones, just a joke. So, if you had to step back and say, you know, Shay, this is one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given that I want to pass to the audience, what would that piece of advice be and why?
Oh, I love this. So I have a couple, but the first one is a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it says, "The world belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." Because our world can be so challenging and so noisy, some of us forget to dream. We forget that little boy or that little girl who is still inside of us, who has something that they thought about, who was gifted at something, and we put it to the side because we think we need to make money in a certain way, or society or family or whoever has told us we need to do it this way. What I would encourage is to dream, whatever that is. And once you start to see that vision in your head, then it will begin to manifest. I think it's crazy that we get to fly in an airplane and get to somewhere in record time that would take us days to travel across the country, and we can get there in a plane. People must have thought the Wright brothers were absolutely crazy. And so I would just encourage people to dream. And then the other was from my grandmother, and she said, and I will never forget, nothing in life is free. So even if someone is offering you something and it looks real good and shiny, just make sure that it's in alignment with you and what you're supposed to be doing, because sometimes all money is not good money.
Yeah, I love it, by the way. And, you know, as you talk about being an aligned CEO, attracting the clients you want, and money not being everything, what does success look like for you these days? Or more importantly, what does it even feel like, if it has a feeling?
Ooh, it does. It definitely does. For me now, knowing what I know and work, living all over the world and traveling the world, for me, success is true peace. And I obtain true peace by walking in my divine assignment. That's when you're at peace. So even though it feels uncomfortable some days and things happen, I just know that everything is going to be okay because I'm being obedient to my calling.
You said you traveled all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. I'm not going to let her leave us hanging, by the way. I know you got to be curious. Where are some places she's traveled to, by the way? And what's one of the places that she enjoyed and why? Now, again, it's an unfair question, but she said she traveled a lot of places. Let's do a check-in and see where she's been. Talk to us. Where's one of the
Well,
places she's been?
I gotta tell you, so I lived in Korea, I lived in Hawaii, but one of my favorite places was Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. My name is Malaysia. When I came up, you couldn't find your name on those little cups with Johnny and all them. I was able to get everything. with my name on it. So I think that was so exciting. It's such a beautiful place, and the people are beautiful there. I definitely got to get back. Stayed in the Ritz Carlton. Wink, wink. Get to that Ritz Carlton in Kuala Lumpur, please. Yes.
I tell you, that is so cool, by the way. I love it, by the way. You know, as we come down the home stretch, my next question is, what do you do for fun? You travel all over the place. You're trying to save the world. You're running this business. What do you do for fun just to relax when you're not out saving the world?
Oh, I have a nonprofit as well. So I plan retreats, which are going to be all over the world. I just had a retreat hosted in Massanutten, Virginia. Shay was an amazing part of that retreat. I love to travel and experience wellness experiences, mindfulness experiences. I like listening to spiritual teachers. I went and saw Eckhart Tolle in DC. I just like to learn. I love to learn about other people. I like to learn about other cultures. I feel like the more we learn about other people, the more we actually learn about ourselves. And I love spas. I love listening to books on tape. I'm in my PhD. I don't know if that's considered fun, but yeah, so I just love to experience the finer things, the luxury things in life that allow us to feel free and to elevate our lives.
What are you getting your PhD in?
I'm getting my PhD in mind body medicine, and I actually just defended my oral proposal and I just got approved. So I'm moving on to the full dissertation phase. And so
Congratulations.
hopefully, Jay, look, June of 2026, I need you available.
We'll have her back, ladies and gentlemen, so I can say doctor in the building. Oh, I can't wait. That'll be a whole lot of fun. As we come down the home stretch, a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients is your firm looking to work with these days, if any? And number two, how can folks best connect with you? If they want to stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have, where should they go? What should they do?
So for clients, I'm the founder and CEO of Blissful Life Consulting. We have a mental health and holistic wellness business solutions, as well as Malaysia Harrell Foundation, who offers these resources to veteran women and other underrepresented populations. So we typically, for our wellness, we work with corporate wellness services. So if you have a team who needs wellness services, team building, we're in this age of technology and we need to stay connected. And we're here to help you do that so that you can decrease the money that you're losing by losing team members, having to retrain them, sick calls, so we're able to help you in that. And then on the coaching aspect, we are working with high achieving women who are very successful on the outside, who really want to really transform and get in alignment with their divine assignment.
And
And
it's
you can
and
find
give me
us
give me
on
the
Blissful
and. This
Life
is the and.
Consulting. You can find us on blissfullifeconsulting.com and malaysiaharrell.com. So if you're looking for workshops, you're looking for me to come and speak at one of your engagements or, co-facilitate a workshop for your community, we have all of those resources available.
I love it, by the way. I love what you're doing. I love the work you're doing. I've had a chance to meet you several times in person. I had a chance to break bread with you. You have a heart to give and a heart to serve. So keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you. Thank you to viewers, by the way. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show. So I appreciate every night when you show up. You have a lot of choices. You allow us to stream into your home. Thank you so much, by the way. And I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no matter what's going on in your life, by the way, whether you're doing really well and you're going to that next level of success, or as I said before, you've been hit with the punch you never saw coming. The one thing I do believe is that today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, I believe your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name is Shay Brown. I'm out. Peace. We'll see you all on the other side. Bye-bye.